Hey y'all, long time no talk, right? It's been quite a while since we've last been with you. This is Foreman, and you're probably wondering what the heck am I doing showing up on your feeds if you're still subscribed to the original podcast from the last few years. Well, I'm here to tell you that we're back after a lot of reorganization. If you follow us on the subreddits, you might be familiar with some of the things that we've done over the last half a year as far as reorganizing and restructuring. Controversial to some, a lot of support as well. We're really happy with where things are. We hope you are too. If you're not, we're gonna keep trying. We're gonna keep banging at it and build this thing into an Xbox community that is useful, hopefully, that you seem to enjoy visiting, that we enjoy visiting and taking part in, and we're happy to share it with you. And that's why we're trying to expand the content a little bit. So that brings us to here. Thanks for joining us, first of all. I have no idea if there's anybody that's even going to listen, especially this kind of pilot episode, but here's the concept. There's a lot of Xbox podcasts out there, and many of them, they go on for a long time, y'all. Like, 2 hours, 3 hours. I've seen 4-hour podcasts, and that's great. If you're playing a game, you got a lot of time to kill, and you don't mind the banter, that serves a purpose. I love podcasts like that at times, but there's another angle to that, and something that we don't think is very well served, and that's just don't you just want the news? Isn't that why you come by a place like Reddit and just read those top 15, 20 stories, see what's going on, get in, get out, and maybe not spend 4 hours looking at these topics? So we invite you to join us here, which our goal is going to be is to hit the top post. The top post from the subreddit, from our Xbox, the kind of the main community, and maybe some from Game Pass and a couple of the other communities as well, to figure out what you're talking about. This isn't really a show about us. This is us featuring your submissions, your comments, and the hot news of the week, or the day, anyways, if you will. Hopefully, we're gonna get to a point where this is going to be kind of a daily thing or a semi-daily thing. There's not always a lot of news to talk about. With maybe a couple moderators, maybe users. And we're going to rotate hosts, but kind of give you the same format every single listen. So without further ado, let's kind of dive in to see how this is going to work. If you're following on YouTube, you're going to be able to see I have the subreddit pulled up. You can see my browsers. This is really just a test. Don't hack my browser links, come on. But we're gonna just kind of see how the flow goes and see if this is something that people feel will be worthwhile. If they have input, suggestions, if you want to take part, this is all, we're kind of trying something a little bit different and new here. So without further ado, let's talk about what you're talking about today, August 7th, 2024. One last note before I start the timer. There is a timer. This show will never go over 20 minutes. If we are talking and that timer hits, we're just going to play the outro music. We'll get out of here. We'll pick it up on the next episode. We don't want to waste time, so we're going to try to thoroughly discuss topics, but not do so like, for an hour on each thing, just hanging onto every detail and really just blowing it out. Kind of like I'm doing now, rambling. Then it's 3 hours later, right? So let's get right to the meat and potatoes. The timer starts now. Top post today. Is anybody here still on last gen? And when I say top post, this is the top post as of the time that we record the show. So, these things change. We are sorted by hot, which means the topics that people are really focused on at the moment. Actually, since this is a pilot, let's look at what top for the last 24 hours does here today. And it's still kind of the same content, so something we'll consider on which format to use moving forward. I've already wasted a valuable minute, so this will be a learning experience for me too. Let's get back to that top post. It is anyone here still on last gen? This is submitted by user select let8637. And they are pretty much asking, they shared a picture of the Forza Horizon 3 Xbox One, which, okay, I get it. It's kind of a visual example, if you will. And then their post goes like this: I still play games on my Xbox One S, like for Forza Horizon 3. I'm pretty happy that new games are still getting made for it. Cannot wait for Jedi Survivor, which, if you haven't heard, was just announced that it's going to be coming to Xbox One a little later this year. Kind of a surprise, maybe this is the reason though that developers are still developing for that hardware. You still have a lot of users out there still playing on it, and they can still have a good experience. So back to the post though. Cannot wait for Jedi Survivor, COD, Black Ops 6, and upcoming games like Atomfall, Descenders Next, Splitgate, all coming to Xbox One in 2025. So these are all games that are still being made for the last generation. Atomfall looks like the most interesting one. I honestly can't believe last gen is still getting games. So it goes on, and you kind of probably get the basics here from the post, and I think this brings up actually some interesting topics. First of all, we see a lot of the hate for the Series S, holding back this generation of gamers. Developers are having a hard time hitting multiple console targets, but I think something that might be overlooked sometimes, and not always, it's not always the case, but we're still making games for Xbox One and PS4. That's happening right now. That's a real thing, and it's kind of interesting to consider the impact that's had on the industry and how it's going to continue going forward, because it's pretty safe to assume that we're going to have this backwards compatibility moving forward through the generations ahead, however they look. If there even are generations, nobody knows what the future is in 10-15 years, but having that kind of compatibility, where's the biggest audience going to be for developers? If you can make a game that runs on Xbox One and it's universal, it's still supported, especially a smaller indie game that maybe isn't pushing things as much as these quadruple A, forgive me, but the big budget games out there. Yeah, there's a space for them, and that's a bigger audience. So yeah, people are going to keep making games for Xbox One as long as people are still buying it. And even then, even when people adopt a newer hardware, they might still be targeting Xbox One because you can still get more users by doing that. Another question is, do you all still have Xbox Ones in your house? Does anybody use them as like a media box or a secondary console? It's kind of interesting. I think there are a lot of people, a lot of more casual gamers, the people that aren't tech chasers, that are sitting back on last gen. So it will be interesting to see how many of you are. We have run surveys in these communities, and it's safe to say that most Reddit people that care enough to visit the Reddit, the Xbox subreddits, they're early adopters. We saw something like a 90% Game Pass Ultimate attach rate when we've run surveys with you all. We've seen that 90% of you, I believe, the same kind of numbers, give or take, had an Xbox Series X or Series S, and the vast majority of the readers of the Reddit communities, anyways, is who I'm speaking to. You guys are on the Series X. You're on the newest tech, so something to keep watch on though. It's a good topic. It got 900 upvotes, 600 of you commented in there, and it kind of wild, right? That in 5-6 years, that people are still going to be using the X1. People 10 years from now will still be using the Xbox One. They just finally killed the Xbox 360 storefront, so that's something that's not going to happen with the Xbox One, assuming that the universal forward compatibility is a thing. So I think I beat that one to death. If I'm gonna talk that long on topics, or if the whoever's hosting up here is, we're never gonna make this work. So we're 5 minutes down. Let's move on to the next big story of the day, and that is Microsoft Mobile Gaming Store is being tested internally at Xbox. This comes to us courtesy of Pure Xbox, who those guys are quick with news. It's not always original reporting, but I got to give them props for being fast and thorough with Xbox content. It's a good follow, and then you can usually click through to the source to find out the real details about a story. But that aside, let's talk about the submission here. And so there's Xbox has been discussing a mobile storefront, something for your iOS, your Android operating systems. And that's all we kind of know. We know that it's being internally tested right now. That's what this kind of story confirms here. And if we click through, we might be able to get a few more details. We've been hearing about Microsoft building its own mobile gaming store for a while now. And a new statement from Xbox sheds some light on some of those developments. In response to an Xbox Insider image spreading around the community, Xbox's head of communication, Carrie Perez, has confirmed that testing has begun. but they haven't committed to a public release date just yet. And that's courtesy of The Verge, courtesy of Pure Xbox. You can see how this goes, and they're not going to get too sidetracked here, but finding a source on content is can be a challenge sometimes, especially when a story is pieced together from multiple sources. So kind of back to the story at hand. During the whole Activision Blizzard saga, Microsoft told the UK, the CMA, that its mobile Xbox store was being built to shift consumers away from Apple and Google. So they are trying to compete directly with the main storefronts with Apple and Google there. Both of them, they have total control of the mobile market, basically, ever since WinPhone dropped out. So Phil Spencer also inferred that its release date wasn't far away last November, so we're expecting to see it crop up publicly in some form soon, the article says. We don't know. What I can do here is I actually commented myself here, made a list of the big Xbox mobile games that might be a part of some kind of mobile storefront. We have Solitary, Wordament, Mahjong. These are some basic single player kind of, every system has these games on them, right? They're classics. But then we get into King, and we have Bubble Witch Saga. I forgot about Sudoku. Candy Crush Saga. These are huge games. One thing that was pointed out here is that if you look at ABK, before they were purchased by Microsoft, over half of their revenue came from mobile. It wasn't Call of Duty. It wasn't World of Warcraft. It was these mobile games, right? Excuse me there. So, moving on to some of the other titles, Warcraft Rumble. That's kind of a fun take on Clash of Clans. I've played a little bit of it. If you're a Warcraft fan, it's kind of entertaining. They have some tie-ins with World of Warcraft for some items and stuff. You have Call of Duty, Warzone Mobile, huge. Diablo Immortal, huge. The Elder Scrolls Blades, less huge, but still out there, still existing. The Elder Scrolls Castles, that's in early development. You can sign up for a beta test now on Android and iOS. And the Elder Scrolls Legends, kind of forgotten about card game, but it's still published and it's still out there. You also have some heavy hitters like Fallout Shelter, a super popular game, reinvigorated with a show. Huge player base. It's made them a good deal of money. Hearthstone, responsible for really bringing trading card games to the masses. And, I'm not obviously Magic the Gathering and that did it first. It was on radar first, but Hearthstone really made it accessible. Like my kid said her band teacher was playing it several years ago when she was still in school, and that's the kind of mass appeal that it has. So Hearthstone's still a big one out there, even in the face of something like Marvel Snap. And then something I forgot was Minecraft. I don't know how I forgot it, but a user reminded me. Thank you, XSX Zab, for pointing that out. Yeah, Minecraft is ginormous. Huge on mobile, huge everywhere, crossplay. So these are all items that you could see in some kind of mobile storefront. I believe we are at 10 minutes now. I'm doing the countdown. This won't be a thing in the future, I promise. Just kind of pacing myself as we go through. We're going to talk about video game performers. If you haven't heard, there is a strike for voice actors and actresses. For a full year, it's warned that the strike could last. Some studios have pushed back, saying this isn't that big of a deal. Grand Theft Auto 6, the new one, they said that they were still continuing production, that they would be fine, but maybe they have spoken too soon, and if this drags out, this could be a real impact on those bigger games that depend on voice actors, which is most of your quadruple A stuff, right? We have Lord of the Rings Return to Moria comes to Xbox on August 27th with a brand new mode. This is a classic Lord of the Rings game. It's about to release, no big wait, so it'll be interesting, and you can come out and check it out soon. That's August 27th. That's by the end of the month here. So we had a post about Xbox's Phil Spencer seems interested in Microsoft's new AI upscaling technology, and I will be the first to tell you I am not well versed on this technology. I did check out a video, and it was quite interesting. It looks like some kind of on-the-fly upscaling. Supported by ARM processors, which seems to be controversial. If you're on YouTube, I have an image up kind of showing, this is a screen cap I took, showing how it sharpens the text and sharpens the images on lower resolution games, presumably on the fly. It adds about 8 milliseconds, I believe is the number of delay. I did read the article on it a little bit, and while it's interesting as a concept and cool to see, it's not something that we are probably going to see implemented anytime soon. The video was produced by Digital Foundry originally. Digital Foundry puts out some great technical content if you're into that kind of stuff. And we should do a little update on Balatro, everybody's favorite trading card. No, not really. Playing card, I guess. Game. It's a card battler. If you're not familiar, similar to Slay the Spire or several other ones with its own kind of flair. It's based on a standard deck of cards. With some wild jokers. All the gameplay comes from different jokers that impact your gameplay. It's kind of hard to explain, easy to learn, hard to master. Good news for the developer, they have confirmed they sold 2 million copies now, which is absolutely incredible. What a huge success and a really crowded scene, the indie scene and stuff to break out. So they have also announced they have significant content on the way. It will be free to all users, all people who own the game. And what more can you say there? If you haven't played it, check it out. Wishlist it. Look for it on sale. If you have any interest in poker or puzzle games or something like I said, Slay the Spire, this could be right up your alley. I was hooked for quite a while, and I plan to go back. It's that much fun. So I think the last bit of news that we will touch on today is I have nothing. That's it. I blanked. There's some other stories here. I don't see anything that's really groundbreaking. I just want to thank everybody for joining me as we try something out here. Hopefully this is kind of an interesting concept. I promise you that it's going to get better and more put together, better formatted as we go on. We're just trying to do something useful to highlight your comments, your submissions. Like I said, we want to give shout outs to what you're sharing, what you're saying out there, because we truly believe this is where the heart of the gaming industry discussion takes place. And you know, that we've seen industry changing posts and comments over the years, including protests to price increases, going back to the Xbox One launch. You guys have more power than you know, and we're going to channel that into some events for you, including tomorrow, August 8th, and probably through the 10th or 11th, we're going to be running a contest for Cat Quest 3. We'll have 5 codes to give away. We're going to invite you to share pictures of your cats, dressed as a pirate or with an Xbox or whatever. Unfortunately, we are locking this contest down to cat owners to celebrate International Cat Day. Later this week, we will be joined by a developer behind the game Lullaby of Life, created by Midwest Games, or published by Midwest Games, I should say. If you're not familiar with them, they are an upstart operation located in Wisconsin, of all places. I am from the Midwest, so I've kind of followed their story. I'm excited to have a chance to talk to them. They have the users ask them questions. They also made news for Major Nelson. Larry went over there soon after leaving Xbox as a consultant. It's a good bunch of people, and I am excited. I have had a chance to play this game. It's a fun puzzler. I played it on Steam with controller support. I think that we'll find an audience. We're excited to talk to them. So those are some upcoming events. I am 4 minutes shy of our target. This is a good time to get out of here. Thank you again for joining. Sorry if I was scattered and all over the place, but again, this is kind of a pilot episode. So take care, all. Checking out at 1943. Good job, me. Happy gaming.